Hello, and welcome to YAFI, Here and Now. This is a program where we examine the top 3 or 4 of different categories and topics, spanning time, all coming from amazing footage, which hasn't been seen in decades, from the hit show You Asked For It. So check this out. Today's category are the top 3 smallest, yet a little edgy places. If you like what you see, please share this video, hit the like button, and subscribe. Also, check out the YAFI channel for more. Our first on the list comes from Hawaii, and we want to send all of our love and support to those who are suffering right now through the terrible tragedy that has struck Maui. You can always donate and do what you can to help by visiting this website, which is also going to be in this video's description. So help make a difference. Everyone there in Maui presently needs some help. Now, volcanoes are really just mountains full of lava that explode and shine brighter than the sun. And Hawaii is kind of small if you look at the map, so to have a lot of activity like this from these fiery mountains is a bit much. But the way that folks react to these volcanoes and the lava that pours out is really something interesting. And now, number 1, the volcano vigilantes of Hawaii.
Just watch where the wind takes this letter. Yes, we're standing on the very rim of Halemaumau, legendary home of Pele, Hawaiian goddess of fire. Many times during the past years, the floor of this crater, located at the very center of Kilauea volcano on the slopes of Mauna Loa, has been a pool of liquid fire, spewing forth great showers of lava, then cooling and crusting again until pressures within the earth have caused it to explode once more. In a moment, you're going to see some actual pictures of these eruptions. But first, I'd like to have you relive with me a visit I made earlier today to the headquarters of the scientists who stand vigil over this volcano and who study what happens deep within the Earth's surface. Here near Halemaumau, the United States Department of Interior's Geological Survey maintains its Hawaiian Volcano Observatory. Dr. Jerry P. Eaton invited me in to show some of the work of these men who probe beneath the Earth's crust to detect earthquakes and their relation to volcanoes, such as we'll see in action in just a minute. This device has another interesting job. When lava wells up from miles below the volcano, it sometimes accumulates in reservoirs near the Earth's surface. The lava deposit presses upward, forming a dome and tilting the ground above. So this is a tilt meter, partly filled with water from a pressure tank in the Jeep. When a dome forms and the ground tilts, the water drops at one side of the pan and rises on the other, so the slightest shift in the earth can be quickly detected. At Sulphur Bank on Kilauea, I watched geochemist Jack Murata collecting escaping gases for analysis. Quite often the gases are from molten rock many miles down on the earth. This activity provides important data on conditions in the Earth's interior, leading to clearer knowledge of exactly why eruptions occur. Samples of gas from Sulphur Bank are taken back to the laboratory. In what is called a mass spectrometer, the gases are analyzed by Dr. Wayne Alt. The slightest changes noted from one day to the next. All in the life of these volcano vigilantes high on Kilauea. In Yukahuna Vault, I saw more seismographs. For our brief visit, the lights were turned on inside, but ordinarily the vault is completely dark. For when the goddess Pele is angered, she lets forth like this. 1955 eruption of Kilauea. New cones and craters burst forth all along the east flank of Hawaii's great volcanic rift. But Halemaumau crater did not erupt at this time. Along gentler slopes and roads, great banks of molten rock, incandescent even in broad daylight.
Easily one of the most terrifying and hottest videos I've seen in a while. Not really a video, more like footage. It's a mini doc. It's spanning time. You've never seen this. Our number 2 comes from Bodie, California. Once a flourishing gold rush town. This was in the late 19th century, where in 1859, gold was discovered there in Bodie, California, and then everyone rushed there to find the same gold! And at one point, this small town's population was about 10,000, and they had 2,000 buildings that were up and about, and there was a lot going on. Bodie is very small, and when everyone left it, to this day, it's remained a ghost town, okay? Pretty dangerous stuff, all in the name of gold. Sweet, sweet gold. Oh boy. You know, some towns, they got the tumbleweed. Some towns, they have maybe 1 or 2 shops that are open, like a La Sports Sac or something like this. It's like Amagansett, right? In the Hamptons. But that ghost town in Bodie, California is just beyond.
Tioga, Sonora, Ebbets Pass, Monteville. Familiar names along the Bonanza Trail in the Motherlode country. And it was in a high mountain hollow above the timberline and east of the Sierras that this dust-stained prospector struck gold. William Sam Bodie was his name. They say he came west from New York State. He was 45 and his hair and mustache were turning gray, but he was trapped in a blizzard and his only reward was a hole in the ground, a heap of rocks, and a town they named after him. The town of Bodie, California. Well, because so many of you asked for it, we again make our eerie journey through this real ghost town. Once it was home to 15,000 people, but today only those who died there remain, like William Bodie, whose grave lies near the cemetery gates on the hill.
Some say a ghost town is inhabited by spirits, that shadows lurk in its cemeteries, that inhuman voices echo through its mine shafts and scream across the sage. Those who didn't die of their sickness, those who didn't stop a bullet, want to forget what happened in my town amid its bloodshed, lust, and struggle. So who can better tell the story of a dead town than the dead themselves? Like the bones beneath the tombstones, the boom town of Bodie has been ravished by time, blasted by the winds, bleached by the sun. Only a skeleton remains. Once it was a beehive of sweating, mud-caked men, noisy with the pounding of hammers, the clatter of the mills. Main Street was hell on earth. Thundering wheels, galloping hooves, the crack of whips against flesh. Gold. Gold. That's what they came here for. And bank vaults like this were knee-deep in nuggets and pokes of dust. The water was gone, the gold was gone, the people were gone. Their houses began to blister and crack in the sun and the snow. The town of Bodie was dead. No longer are there housewives to tidy up the home, sew a button on a work shirt, or rock a newborn babe to sleep. Their worldly possessions remain just as they left them, inside the crumbling stones and woodwork. All they left are initials carved in the wood. They died young in Bodie, and they died often. There was a coffin marked for everyone. But even these coffins are worthless. Or like its inhabitants in its cemeteries on the hill, the skeleton town of Bodie bleaches and rots away. There's not a sign of life. From virgin land to boom town to ghost town, all within 25 years.
Bodie, California, but Bodie sounds like, I don't know, a contestant on The Bachelor. Hey, Bodie, man, She gonna give you a rose, bro? They say if you stick around late at night, you can hear the axes and the picking and the "I got gold." Our number 3 on the list of small and dangerous, and this one ain't maybe as dangerous as the other two, but San Marino is one of 5 of the smallest countries on this planet. San Marino, whose capital is also called San Marino, is atop of a mountain, and there are beautiful landscapes all over the place. So perhaps that's what makes it a bit of a creepy place, is it's so small, you're checking out the scenery and you fall off. San Marino, interestingly to note, is also one of the oldest republics in the world. And this, started really around 301 AD. Here's our number 3 video, San Marino, one of the smallest countries in the world.
San Marino, the last of the Italian city-states, a holdover from the Middle Ages. Situated on the slopes of Monte Titano at 2,000 feet above sea level, San Marino supports a population of 22,000. Like any self-respecting medieval town, San Marino has castles, such as First Tower. This is one of the oldest castles in Europe, dating back to the 11th century. Today it's a museum, the country's top tourist attraction. San Marino is tiny, but proud. The country has been in existence for about 1,600 years and has resisted emperors, kings, armies, dictators, and the 20th century. Today the borders are safely watched by friendly guards. There are 200 men under arms, all volunteers. San Marino hasn't fought a war in 16 centuries, but the army is still maintained for ceremonial purposes. The most modern weapons they can field are 60-year-old rifles. But what they lack in firepower, they more than make up for with pride and snappy performances. And that's all on a military budget of about $31,000 a year. The crossbow is an ancient and honored weapon in San Marino. Thanks to the fact the country is perched on a hill, the crossbow played an important part in defending the passes in the 9th century. The tradition is maintained today with this special corps of marksmen. The range they practice on is 35 yards long, and the bolts can hit speeds of about 100 miles an hour, powerful enough to pierce armor. But wars and talk of war seem far away in San Marino. The major business today is tourism. The bulk of the country's $80 million annual budget comes from tourist dollars and souvenir sales. The biggest revenue getter, aside from tourism, is sale of stamps to collectors.
In San Marino, they're really into short stories. They like to take little naps and spend a little time reading short stories. It's tiny. Well, that'll do it. That's YAFI Here and Now. Those were the top 3 smallest, yet perhaps dangerous and creepy places. Again, if you like what you just saw, share this video, tell people to subscribe. You subscribe and hit that like button. Also, once again, please check out the link in the description below to find out how you could help the survivors of this terrible tragedy that's happening in Maui. And again, here's the main website you should visit, and it'll be in the description. Until next time, thank you for being here.